Hey everybody, it's Mark Zonder with A through Z, and you're watching CMS TV.
Today on the show, we are talking to one of the legendary drummers of metal out there. He plays in you obviously know him from Fate's Warning, A through Z he has, which is a great project that not enough of you have discovered. I'll just say it that way. He doesn't have to. I'll say it. But he's also the drummer of the band Warlord. Warlord is going out on tour on the Force from Hell and Deliverance tour with the Great Onslaught. Talk about a metal night. That's as metal as it gets. And this guy's as metal as it gets as well. He is the great Mark Zonder. Mark, how are you, man?
Been a while, man. Thank you very much. Really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's great to talk to you, man. And I'm gonna start. I'll start with Warlord, and I'll probably bounce around a little bit. But
Go to
I've
it.
I've thought this about you, and I do not want this to sound the wrong way, but I'm just gonna say it. You are such a skilled drummer to be playing kind of 4/4 mostly music. Is that a weird timing shift for you? Like, is that almost harder to do than it would be to do some intricate Fate's Warning thing or something that requires a lot more concentration, maybe?
Well, let's just start with the atomic bomb right off the top.
Yeah.
It's more natural for me to play four. Okay.
Okay.
I was never, ever into odd time, ever.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I thought it was ridiculous. I still kind of think to this day, as much as I have much of a reputation playing with Fate's Warning, I'd like to think that I took odd time and made it accessible to the masses. There's a million bands out there playing odd time, and even I sit here and go, huh? Huh? What? So much odd time, like guys play seven, it's basically eight, and they drop a beat off the end, and it just sounds like you hit a brick wall every measure.
Mm-hmm.
Or the classic nine, which is basically eight plus one, and it sounds like you're just rolling along. Oh, we're back to one. I never understood, and there's a couple bands obviously that do it and have the mass following and so on and forth, and that's great. That's
Sure.
great. Okay. Give me Loverboy anytime.
Right on.
I used to say in my clinics all the time, what is the greatest drum riff of all time? And it's just four on the floor. It's four
Mm-hmm.
kick. And the reason why is my mom gets that.
Sure.
Everybody gets that. Not everybody gets Dave Weckl.
True.
Not everybody gets, all those kind of guys. And my whole thing with Fate's Warning is I was given an opportunity, and I just took my skill and I can count. I can count, and just applied it. And as you can tell from like perfect symmetry to parallels, not that there was an awakening, but there was a thing of like, well, the music changed too, but I got a lot more comfortable making weird stuff sound good. To me, two bars of five is 10, which is basically, snare on two, four, six, eight, and 10, and no one knows the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about, my approach was always about grooving and having it so people could follow what's going on and tap their foot to it. There's nothing worse to look into an audience and see someone going, like he just lost.
Like they're doing math or something.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, there's even bands that I go see, and the only, a band like Kansas has the weird time stuff, but you're so used to the song, and
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to grab the song that you know that it's coming. And what's funny though is there is stuff in Warlord where Bill didn't wasn't that guy who sat down like a lot of these quote prog bands with a calculator and a slide rule and go, okay, four, four, five, six, seven. He just played from the heart and the feel. And there's songs that all of a sudden there's a bar of five in there for like no particular reason, but it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because it works with his little melody line. So
Sure.
it's kind of interesting in that respect. And as we started going a little further, you kind of go from Deliver Us, I mean, you start getting into Aliens, which Aliens technically, if you really listen to the drum part, that could be kind of a Fates Warning-ish
Sure.
thing. It moves all over the place. It has that floating thing. It has the linear stuff. Lucifer's hammer is a little different. It's
Sure.
kind of da 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 kind of thing. But no, I'm not really a fan, to be honest with you, man. And
Okay.
it's also I go out and play with Warlord.
Hmm.
I can just kind of put my head down and rock. Okay.
Right.
With Fate's Warning, I had an abacus and a calculator and slide rule here, and it was like it was crazy and it was stressful as hell. Make
Sure.
no doubt about it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you make it look so easy." Oh, trust me, man. It was every gig was a stress.
Sure.
Certain songs not as much, but man, there was no, hey, check out the girl in the front kind of thing. on Fates Warning. It was so intense. And
Sure.
what was interesting about Fates Warning that made it even a little bit more intense was everybody kind of was doing their own thing. So it wasn't
Hmm.
like I could lock on, not that I've ever been known to like lock onto the bass player. Usually it's the other way around, but
Sure.
there's nothing to grab, and not to sound funny, and musicians will get this, but in a band like Warlord, if something happens and whatever, it's really easy to get back on.
Sure. Hmm.
Fate's Warning, you might as well just like fake a heart attack,
Right. Right. Sure.
because forget it, forget it.
Hmm.
Hey, you. Why are you watching this with commercials? Go commercial free and unlock exclusive content. Become a VIP today on Locals, Substack, or Rumble Premium. Stop waiting.
Well,
Kind of.
and look, I'll just tell you honestly, Mark, I am a very failed drummer. I tried, I wasn't good at it. I practiced, I didn't get better. Sometimes to step away, right? But
Well, yeah.
but if I learned anything from being a not great drummer, it's that what you do well should be where you focus. And I think fans lose track of that. Phil Rudd is a great drummer. Phil
Yep.
Rudd plays 4/4 time
Yep.
exclusively. And people will never say, most people will not say Phil Rudd's a great drummer. They'll go to like either really intricate technical stuff or they'll go to really fast, the Tim Youngs and whatnot of the world.
Yeah.
And
Whatever.
I don't think speed is necessarily, it's a cool skill, but it's not very conducive. Being a guy like you that can pull himself into the pocket, can play anything, but can pull himself into the pocket and keep the pocket sturdy for the guitar player and the vocalist is way more important, I believe, than showcasing, you
Oh
know,
no, absolutely. Here's the funny one. Picture Neil Peart in AC/DC.
right?
And I can and what makes that so much, it's comical. And again, we're not speaking ill of the dead. These are just
No.
facts. Go back and watch when Neil Peart went on to this Buddy Rich tribute kind of
Hmm.
thing. It turned his world upside down.
Right.
Okay. He didn't fit it all. He had to go spend the next 12 years studying with Freddie Gruber or whatever and like trying to get better. And then he came back and he had the big show behind him and all. What I'm saying is, there's no such thing as the greatest drummer. It's like you can't say there's the greatest basketball player. Okay. I mean, yes, there's like clubs. I always looked at it that way. I didn't go, wow, Michael Jordan was the best because I'm sitting here going, well, I don't know, Kobe was pretty good, and but there's
Sure.
a thing like a club. So different drummers for different things. I mean, you have, like you said, Phil Rudd is one. There's others that like you said, but that fits what they're doing.
Hmm.
Same like with Charlie Watts. Charlie Watts, was a great jazz drummer per se, in different situations that he played in, besides the Stones. But when he played with the Stones, he knew exactly what to do and what not to do. He wasn't playing ride cymbal like a bebop groove in the Stones.
Sure. Right.
So when it comes to the drum thing, there's all different kinds, and it cracks me up when I see guys that are just like it's so over the top.
Hmm.
It reminds me of the guy in the gym that can dunk but can't shoot a free throw to save his life.
Sure. Like
You
a Shaquille
know,
O'Neal type, right?
well, I'd take Shaquille all day, but
Well, yeah, but he's still like a 40% free throw shooter.
well, yeah, but he was so dominant on so many other things. I'm talking about like when you just go like to the local gym where
Oh,
people
yeah,
are
yeah. Okay.
participating. So
Right.
drummers are out there and they're not worried about using all four limbs. They're not worried about locking it in. They're worried about getting YouTube hits.
Hmm.
And take all that crap and until you put it into a song where it grooves as well as everybody goes, wow, that's really freaking cool.
Hmm.
That's why people always ask me, well, why don't you play a drum solo? Why don't you play a drum solo? I go, dude, everything I got is in the songs.
Right.
I'm taking
Hmm.
everything. I'm not, hey, I'm going to save this. No, I'm going to take every bit of mental and physical drum playing and try to jam it in that song one way or another.
Sure.
So, and again, though, it really does just come down to the groove, how you make it groove. And there's several ways to do that, but
Hmm.
I just don't understand the gymnastics
Sure.
of the
Well,
drum.
and even finding the groove though, you don't, there's a distinct difference when you hear different players
Oh, yeah.
playing, Guns N' Roses comes to mind immediately. The Steven Adler sound
Yep.
is very different than the Matt Sorum sound. Not because
Absolutely.
I would say probably Matt's a better pure player than Adler, but Adler had that swing, whatever you would want to call it, that just fit.
But yeah, exactly. And it's that time and the place and the band.
Mm-hmm.
Ringo. Ringo's not going to
Yeah,
sound very good, playing with Marillion probably.
true, true.
But it's the and it's funny those drummers that we talk about like that. It's part of a band. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a drummer. It's part of
Right.
the and that's what makes that band sound. That's why Fate's Warning went through all different kind of phases when it went from Steve, that had one
Mm-hmm.
sound. Me, that had another sound. Nick DiVirgilio doing the live in Athens, that had another sound. And then
Right.
he has another sound. So it all, and then, and if you want to throw it in there, when Portnoy played with Fates Warning on some live gigs, that had a totally different sound. So
Right.
that's a really good example of, different drummers. And even like Bobby, who copied my stuff to the note, man. I'll
Mm-hmm.
never forget. He was in my studio, you know, and he was in there, never asked me for anything, but he's a smart guy. He just nailed
Sure.
it. He figured it out. He took the time and the effort. But there's just, even though you're nailing the parts, there's a certain, it's my heart and my pulse compared to his. And everybody's different. There's nobody, you know, and you can see guys that like do impersonations of different drummers. It's just not the same when you get down to it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why everybody's different. It's just really different.
Right on. Well, let's talk. Let's get it back to Warlord instead of just drum clinic
Ooh.
here. But
I like the drum clinic stuff. That's cool.
sure. Well, I do too. But I definitely want to share with people what's important, which is getting them out to this tour because it is a great tour.
Awesome.
It's for a lot of people. I'm going to assume it's going to be their first chance or the first time they're going to get to see this lineup of Warlord with Giles coming in and Eric coming in and talk to me about that, as far as how they've come in and how they've established themselves as legitimate players in Warlord.
Well, it's interesting because we have played, I don't know, don't hold me to this. I thought it was like 30 to 40 shows over the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of years in Europe. So the band's tight. There's no problem with this. And true Warlord fans are going to probably swear at me, but that's okay. The band has never sounded tighter now.
Okay.
Okay. Now we can go back to this thing of like, well, wait a minute. Warlord was always supposed to sound a little loose. Bill was a little bit more of a loose player. And then when you put Paulo in there when we play live, here's a guy who doesn't speak English, who's a great guy. And sometimes those leads came a little off the rails. Let's just leave it there.
All right.
But these guys, and they copped it note for note, because when we first started this, I told them, I go, guys, okay, no improv, no, hey, check out my blues lead, no, hey, can we extend the solo at the end so I can show everybody how good I am? No, no, this is like a tribute band in that respective. This is note for note. I looked at it this way. We didn't play a lot of gigs. What people know of Warlord is the records. They
Mm-hmm.
don't, hey man, I saw Warlord 12 times and isn't it cool in War in Heaven how they extend this and do some kind of live thing? That ain't it. It's not like that. When they come now to see the band, you got to reference the record. It goes right back to the record because that's what they want to hear. And you've done it and I've done it. You go to a gig to see a band that you love and all of a sudden, Carry On My Wayward Sons in a reggae feel. And you're like,
Right.
oh, what? They don't do that, but you know what I'm saying. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
a minute. I want the record. The only reason those tribute quote bands, the original quote tribute bands, whether it's Foreigner, Kansas, Styx, and all those bands that are out there, that are doing extremely well. It's just people want to relive their youth.
Sure.
People want to come back and, remember the back of the car with the girl while,
Hmm.
it's playing by sticks or whatever.
Right.
Um, and that's just, you know, I'm not going to mention the band, but I went to see a band, one of my favorite all-time bands. Great, cool, great, cool. They're in about 8 songs. Hey, we got a new album coming up. I had to literally stand up in my chair to let the 27 people go down the road to get out to go to the bathroom. They
Right.
weren't there for that. So with Warlord right now, it's about nailing the song. Those guys nailed it. It was amazing. They did videos that they sent us. Uh, Eric and Diego are just unbelievable. I mean, dead on. It just the band is amazing. I love playing with it because I can with them, I can kind of not be loose, but I can drag it a touch. And no one would
Hmm.
even really, it's the feel. I've really been working on lately the feel. Yes, there's a click track, but doesn't mean I'm playing perfect recorded. It's more about that feel and really kind of pushing and shoving and really making the band live, something very, very special. The other thing that's really kind of cool too is let's face it, first record was out in 83. I can't tell people I'm 45. It just doesn't work. Math just doesn't work. So, and Jimmy Waldo too, the keyboard player, him and I are definitely on the AARP tour here. It's
Right.
like, thank God for Medicare, But with those guys up front, we have a youthful energy that when people come see the band, it's not like, oh, those dudes, man, I didn't even know they were still alive, kind of thing.
Right.
There's an energy and it's happening. The guitar players are great. Giles is great. There's an energy that we never really had before.
Hmm.
Uh, so those guys are just great. And they went out and they took the time and the energy, besides learning the songs, they copped those sounds that Bill had. And Jimmy Waldo, the keyboard player, did the same thing. He spent the time and the energy to really research and get those sounds. Because when people come, you want them to get what we're doing. We're not like gonna all of a sudden make it, new metal or whatever.
Sure.
Giles are gonna be growling, and no, we're giving them exactly what we should be giving them.
Hmm.
And on this tour, I think we're playing 14 songs or whatever,
Okay.
we're playing we got to kind of move it, kind of thing.
Right.
The Deliver Us, Mrs. Victoria, the whole Deliver Us EP, Lost in Lonely Days, Aliens, one of my two favorites is Invaders and War in Heaven. So it's pretty power packed. That's all I can
Right on.
say.
Sure.
Winds of Thor, another great story about Winds of Thor that people don't realize because Winds
Sure.
of Thor didn't come out till later. That was the song. A lot of these songs me and Bill played in 1980 or whatever when we were in the little warehouse in San Jose, just Bill and I. Battle of the
Right.
Living Dead. I'll never forget. We played at 175 miles an hour. I could barely keep up. But there's a lot of songs that just didn't come out, on Deliver Us. But Winds of Thor, we had a demo tape. We went down to Oz Records where Brian Slagle was,
Sure.
where, just starting Metal Blade.
Okay.
Metal Massacre 1 might have been out.
Sure.
He put the tape in right there, 8 bars in. Hey, man, you guys want to be on Metal Massacre too? So Winds of
Yes.
Thor is the one that tipped the scale, not Child of the Damned, even though
Right.
that it is what it is, but that's one of my favorite songs. It goes back so far. Battle of the Living Dead goes back so far. Lucifer's Hammer goes back to 1980 in this cold auto bay kind of little thing that we rented in a horrible part of town. I'm surprised we never got robbed. I was
Right.
really shocked, but that's that.
That's
But
funny.
no, we're gonna be tearing it up. It's gonna be great. The guys are great. That's another part of this whole
Sure.
situation. You know, they all look at me like king, so that's cool. No, I'm just kidding. Like Phil Earhart once said, goes, sometimes it's good to be king, and then he goes, sometimes it's not.
Right.
But no, it's great. The guys are great. Really looking forward to them. A lot of them. I mean, Warlord's never played in the States. I
Hmm.
know Giles has quote been and played in the States. Eric actually went to school like in Pasadena here, like in California. So he's
Okay.
been in the States. Diego's never been to the States, and I don't think Pasco has ever been to the
Oh
States.
wow.
So it's gonna be good for them. I haven't played in the States in probably 20 years. It was a Fates Warning Parallels reunion.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a
Last time.
while for you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I love going to Europe, but it amazes me what a 3 hour flight is like compared to an 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool, and waking up every morning and everybody speaking English, kind of
Right.
dig, kind of cool.
I get it, man. Well,
Yeah.
dude, talk a little bit about the tour itself. I have to admit, when I first saw the press release, I was like, wow, that is an odd combo. Just because you guys are Warlord is kind of epic metal, sort of, power metal-y
Yeah.
sound, and Onslaught is straight up thrash. It's an odd, almost punk level on some of their stuff.
Yeah.
The first thought was that's an odd match. Then, truthfully, as I've been getting ready for the interview with you and with Nige, I was listening to both back to back a lot, and I was like, all right, I get this. I get the energy that you guys are going for. So talk a little bit about it from your perspective, man. Does it feel weird? Does it feel right to you? I mean, how does
Well,
that feel?
when it first was presented, I'll have to be honest, if you go look at my playlist, man, it's like Bad Company, Kansas, Journey, kind
Hmm.
of that's kind of just what I listen to. So I'm
Sure.
not versed on all these other things,
Okay.
all these other bands. So I went and listened to a clip and I said, okay, they're kind of like on 10 all the time,
Hmm.
which is cool. It's like if we played Child of the Damned 12 times.
Right.
It's that style. Okay, cool. The truth is, Giles manages them,
Okay.
so that part gets a lot of the BS out of the way.
Sure.
And anybody that's ever been on a tour with another band, it's quote co-headlining, but we're always playing before them, which is really cool. I like it. I like that kind of thing because if it sucks, we'll be out of there real quick. No, I'm kidding. But no, there's respect on both sides. But it's this. And I thought about this too when it came up. If we played with another band that was exactly like Warlord, you're going to draw one audience and one audience only.
True.
Okay. Now, we're not playing with the Sex Pistols, mind you, so it's not going to be like completely off the rails. But I'm hoping that there's a crossover both ways.
Hmm.
People that come to see Warlord stick around and go, wow, this isn't Warlord, but this is cool. I'll have to go get the records or see him next time or whatever. And the same thing, they haven't been here in a long time. Hopefully they bring fans in because honestly, I have no idea what Warlord can draw. We've never played here
Sure.
before. It's not like a band that's been constantly on tour. Um, but no, anybody that's been out knows that 70% of this is just the communication, the smoothness between the two bands, because that can just make
Sure.
life a living hell. And then, okay, wait a minute, this all sucks, and now I got to go play. You think I'm going to have the mindset for that?
Right. Right.
So that's going to be really, really good. We're going to take the opening band and put them through hell and step all over them, but that's a different story. Hey, we've all done it. I
Of
mean,
course.
I'll never forget. We're playing with Dream Theater in Sweden, not Sweden, Switzerland, or one of these places. Big place, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever. We come out. Yeah, besides the fact that like the drum riser was all the way to the front of the stage, the whole stage had one red light, my floor tom and Frank's background vocal and my monitor. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so we all know what it's like to get stepped on. We were
Hmm.
happy, but the truth is, we didn't complain. We were just happy to be there, and we dealt with it. That's called paying your dues, in case anybody's asking.
Right.
So no, it's gonna be good. It's a Warlord Onslaught tour, period.
Right.
Uh, and that's who's going to be bringing in the people. And I know you have opening acts and so on and so forth, and that's great. And I wish them all the luck in the world. But this is time for Warlord to get down and
Sure.
do what we do at full enjoyment and full capacity, and not be hampered or anything like that.
Sure.
So.
It's the album that shocked the world, Judas Priest's Turbo. In 1986, when heavy metal embraced the glam of hair metal, Judas Priest followed suit, unleashing Turbo. It divided fans, rocked MTV, and sparked controversy that still echoes today. In Cause and Effect Turbo, Chris Aiken dives deep into the making of this polarizing album, sharing insider stories and personal memories from that explosive era. Whether you loved it or you hated it, Turbo left its mark on heavy metal history. Relive the controversy. Get your copy now at chrisaiken.net or on Amazon.
Do you have you or the band have a number that would surprise you? Like if you, as an example, let's say that you start going to the shows, every show is sold out. Would that surprise you? Would that not surprise you? Is
Well,
that an
I'd be heading,
expectation?
oh no, I'd be heading to the Porsche dealership, you know what I mean?
Right
With
on.
the bonus. No, to me, and all that I can talk for Warlord. I can't talk for anybody else. I can talk for Warlord because we've talked
Mhm.
about it. I would rather play a dump in a small place, packed,
Right.
fanatical, than like a beautiful theater that was maybe half full, and you're kind of going, man, this is kind of weird. Like what? Someone screwed that up because it's like you thought we were going to draw more than we would. There's not a number, but I'm hoping that it starts rolling and people start kind of coming out of the woodwork. Um, I'm also hoping that people are like, not like, oh man, I'll never see him again. I don't
Mhm.
plan on going anywhere, hopefully. But we've never played in the States,
Yeah.
And there's and all I know though for this has to be true. 40 years later, people are still talking about Warlord, so there had to be fans back then.
Of course.
Yeah,
Sure.
there had to be. I don't think they all died,
Right.
so here we are. This is not one of those tours where you have to like sell a kidney to go to. I saw ticket prices, not the ticket prices when I was a kid, mind you, but
Right. But
they're nothing like crazy or stupid. I mean, it's like it reminds me of like 3 cups of coffee at Starbucks. There you go.
yeah,
There you get the show. You're in. Uh,
Mhm.
we've got a lot of merch. Okay.
That's good.
Merch has always been a not a problem, but we're not on tour. So it's, who wants to go to some website and not even know if the website's real
Sure.
and buy something? So no, we're ready. We're planned. We're ready to go. I mean, we even got the extra lights for the drums, so we're ready to go, man.
Right on. Well, I'll say this about merch and you. You are the kindest guy of anybody that I ever interview. I have two of these, one for each record,
Ah, yeah.
that you've sent me personally, and these are nice. These are a unique piece of merchandise that you wouldn't get from any other band. So, I'm confident that you've got good merch. I know that much.
Well, let's just put it this way. I ain't gonna be sending you nothing now, but come out to a show and I'll hook you up.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I always just thought, I always looked at it's the music business. Yes, I love to play and I play every day and blah, blah, blah. And I work on different things, but there is a business side of it too.
Hmm.
And, I've always thought, and I said this in both the interviews, I think with you, is like, if I'm selling you something that costs, $20, I can't sell you hamburger with
Yeah.
like a pickle on the side. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I have to, if you're going to throw down money and especially this day and age, how expensive it is, I got to deliver, whether it's the extra sticker in there that really doesn't cost that much,
Sure.
or the extra whatever, because there is I've always thought, yes, a band only owes the audience a performance. It only owes the audience a great record. It doesn't owe the audience anything else.
True.
Oh, it doesn't owe them anything else. Okay.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean this is business, man, like anything
Yeah.
else. Hey, 2 for 1 today. Hey, come on down, test drive the car and we'll give you
Sure.
popcorn, whatever. So I've always thought of business in that respect.
Hmm.
So whatever we can do, that's why all these guys will sit there all day long and sign everything all day long. You
Sure.
know, and we're not charging. It's like I we're not charging. It's
Right.
like, hey, you came to the show, you brought every single Fates Warning, Warlord, League of Lights, 10
Sure.
record or Grand Bonnet or whatever I ever did. I'm gonna sign every damn one. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
There's no question about it. And I've seen guys say, "Oh man, I can only sign two." Like, what? Come on, man. What does it really take at the end of the day out of your schedule? If someone is going to go to that extent,
Hmm.
then I'll show up. There's no
Right.
question.
Sure. Well, and it's funny because we talk about this all the time on the classic metal show. Bands don't realize how much the meet and greet, the paid meet and greet, has taken away the specialness of meeting a band. If I can just buy it, then there's nothing special about it. Anybody can come up with a check. It's I'm still that kid that remembers standing outside the bus for Megadeth when I was 14 years old, and David Ellefson shook my
Exactly.
hand, and I still think about it, and I'm 57 now. You know,
Yeah. Now, if you paid for that, you'd be going, I expect this, this, and this,
yeah,
and it's not going to live up to what you want. You know
hmm
what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, that's it.
yeah, that's it. A
But that,
handshake, big deal. Yeah,
that exactly that casual like meeting, like walking by someone and I don't want to say they're going to the bathroom, but let's say they're going to a
yeah,
restaurant or whatever, and you see Cozy Powell walking by and you stop for 2 seconds and he signs up and you shake his hand and whatever and you get your pick. Well, back then we didn't have cameras like that,
right,
but
sure. She got an autograph or something, sure.
yeah, but that or just the memory of like, damn,
hmm
you know, not like, damn, that cost me $200.
Right, exactly.
I get it. The band's trying to make money. I do understand it, but I think the bands that do that right is like you get much more than what you pay for. Like they load it
Sure.
up with whether it's the signed record and there's the plaque and then there's they come over and wash your car or whatever, all these things that go with it. Then you kind of go, okay, that's definitely worth way more than what I
hmm
and,
Sure.
and also too, I think when bands do meet and greets, it's all about the attitude.
Right.
It's like, oh God, I got to do this again.
hmm
What was your
Exactly.
name? I don't care. I'm just going
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I'll just sign my name. Boom.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right on. Well, Mark, obviously this tour is going to be fabulous. The Force from Hell and Deliverance tour with Onslaught. It's going to be great. Mark, where's the best place for us to send people to find tour dates and buy something, not just stream it like lazy people, but actually buy something to help the band?
I think the Warlord Facebook page obviously is a really good place. My page always has it. You might get some, you know, family stuff in there. My
Sure.
dog, not my dog, my dog, not the cat. We don't have a cat, but like that kind of crap that's in there. It's my page, but I post all this kind of stuff. Obviously, Onslaught's page has that. It's kind of all over the place.
Right.
We're just kind of pushing hard on it. What's going to be kind of cool though, coming up this next week, there's all kinds of homemade videos that are done. And yes, there's the classic, hey, this is Joe Blow from XYZ
Yeah,
and
sure.
see this. But I did a couple where I went back to Warlord Manor. I went back to 1983. I took the pictures and the videos of that first picture that we ever took in the church thing. It's still there. I went back to actually the building Warlord Manor and talked about it. I showed where we ate, where they would come
Oh,
out and
cool.
small cheese pizza, thick crust, and there's like five of us, and they felt so bad for us, they just give us free bread because we were
Nice.
starving. That's one. There's a little contesty thing that I did with, hey, can you recognize these drum parts from the Warlord songs? And I did it here in my studio and
Okay.
stuff. And so we have all kinds of those kind of things coming out just to get this thing rolling.
Sure.
We're just excited about it. Kind of interesting that the first gig's Hell's Heroes, which wouldn't be my first choice, just
Huh?
because you're talking about, okay, you're getting gear from here, you're getting backline, you're getting this, and like the day before, it's like, okay, I'm setting this up in the hotel, guys. I got to make sure that everything is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
I would have preferred a small little gig that we could have controlled, but I'm not going to say this is going to be throw and go, but we're playing on the 18th, and we play before Cirith Ungol.
Okay.
So we're pretty high up on the thing of old
Yeah.
man rock uh, kind of thing. That's why I don't think that's why I think on that gig we're above Onslaught because they don't qualify for that new that old man Cirith
Right.
Warlord kind of situation. So I think the promoters were thinking, okay, let's put Warlord up there,
Sure.
for some reason. But no, everybody's excited, and the weather will be good. It's a good time here in the States.
Right on.
We're kind of doing this wacky uh, Texas, California, up to Vancouver, back down across kind of thing. But there will be an East Coast run of this tour for the
Okay.
simple fact that the visas cost so much these days.
Right.
We really have to utilize that we don't want to like wait it out and have those expire and then go, okay, time to throw up big bucks again.
Right.
Do this.
Makes
So
sense.
they're planning it. The gear's kind of all set up and ready to go. And the second leg should be just, it's going to be East Coast, Florida,
Yeah,
kind of thing all
up the
through
coast,
there.
right?
I mean, my God, you can play New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all bang, 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 bang,
Hmm.
as compared to, hey, let's go LA to San Francisco.
Yeah,
Say
10-hour
what?
drive.
Yeah, it's like, say what? Especially like in an RV. This isn't like getting in your own car and going 90.
Right.
But no, everybody's extremely excited. A word out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Please, when you come up and talk to anybody in the band, especially me, please introduce yourself. I won't recognize you from a Facebook picture this big.
Right.
So don't assume, hey man, please, just introduce yourself, and I promise I'll know who you are, but you have to give me the name. You
There you
can't
go.
just walk up and expect me to do that. I know
Right.
that's a funny thing to say, but God, I hate standing there with somebody who's a diehard fan.
You're
You
like,
signed 107 things, and you're going, who the hell
yeah.
is it? I
You're
know
like,
it's somebody.
yeah. And you're doing the hey friend, how are you, buddy?
Hey, big guy,
Yeah,
chief,
big guy,
big guy,
chief, all
chief.
of them.
Now, please introduce yourself.
Right on. Well, introduce yourself at a show. Be at these shows, people. The Force from Hell and Deliverance tour with Onslaught and, of course, the Mighty Warlord. And Mark, this has been fun, man. Thanks for joining me here on Forsaken Presents.
My pleasure, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Sorry, I'm not getting you a medal plaque for this one, but
That's good.
we'll see you. We'll see you on the
We'll
road.
do it for A through Z3.
You got it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Step back into time and flip into fun at Pinball PA, the ultimate arcade and museum where classic games come alive. Located off Broadhead Road in the Hopewell Shopping Center, Pinball PA invites you to play with 400 pinball machines and video games, from rare gems to your all-time favorites like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Frogger, and the latest pinball hits. Perfect for families, friends, field trips, birthdays, and gamers of all ages, Pinball PA is open Tuesdays through Sundays with unlimited play for one low price. No quarters needed. Learn more at pinballpa.com.